Hello there, lovely Networking friends. So this is Amanda Dumas, and I am a rising silver leader with doTERRA. I want to tell you about some amazing chocolate, and I'm going to walk you through the recipe and just give you a bit of info about why this is a fantastic Valentine's Day, or it happens to be my birthday month. So it's a great birthday activity to do with friends. Just a few days ago, with my oil using team, I gathered here at my home and had about 8 of us ladies put together some of these amazing chocolates, and it was really, really easy. So I want everybody to learn how to do it. There are only 3 ingredients to the chocolates that I make. They're considered paleo because I use honey instead of refined sugar of any sort. And so it's just the 3 ingredients are baking cocoa. Now, I have other times used the raw cacao powder. This is really awesome stuff. I like it a lot, but it is a little bit more pricey, and I happen to be out of it. So I only have a little bit left, not enough for a full batch. So I'm using just regular cocoa today. The benefits of the cacao powder are that it has a lot of extra B vitamins, and it also has some just other minerals and things like that that we don't get when it's been refined like a regular cocoa powder. But this is much cheaper. It makes it easy to make. So, and then I use some raw local honey. I like Webb's. I like also Happy Bee honey are 2 of my favorites that are here local to Orlando. You guys probably already know that it's really beneficial to use honey that's local to your area. Mostly for if you're talking about for allergies, but also just small businesses that support them. And I'm also going to use some organic coconut oil as well. And the way I start off with these 3 ingredients is I always begin by heating my coconut oil. Let me go get it because I actually have it still heating over here. Okay, so reasons why you want to heat your coconut oil first. This is heating to still super touchable temperature. One easy thing that I often do is I'll turn on the crock pot and just set the container in there, and that's it. And then I come back 30 minutes later and I'm like, perfect. So especially if you're getting raw coconut oil, this is a really good way to make sure that you're not deactivating that fantastic, lauric acid that's so good for us. And I also sometimes will do the same thing with my local honey, especially if you notice that it starts to crystallize on the bottom. Obviously, you don't have to get the full gallon, but it's cheaper when you buy it that way. So, and this is just wildflower honey. If you are interested, if you have really whatever kind is okay, just be sure that it's pure. You don't want the junky stuff. If you're taking the time to make homemade chocolates, get the good stuff. Okay, so we have coconut oil that has been warmed. We have the raw honey, which has also been warmed, and then the cocoa powder. How easy is this? It's equal parts. So today I'm only going to make a 1 cup portion. That means 1 cup of the powder, 1 cup of the oil, 1 cup of the honey. So you can decide how much you want to make depending on how it's going to work in your family, or how many molds you have, or how much you need to make, or whatever. So I have tried up to 3 cups of each at a time and felt that that was very successful. Beyond that, I can't guarantee you, but that is a boatload of chocolate. So have a party if you're going to do that. So we're going to just pour. I'm going to pour 1 cup of the coconut oil. 1 cup of the honey. 1 cup of the oil. 1 cup of the honey. And then 1 cup of the cocoa powder. 1 cup of the cocoa powder. 1 cup of the honey. 1 cup of the oil. 1 cup of the honey. 1 cup of the oil. 1 cup of the honey. 1 cup of the oil. 1 cup of the honey. 1 cup of the oil. 1 cup of the honey. 1 cup of the oil. 1 cup of the honey. 1 cup of the oil. 1 cup of the honey. 1 cup of the oil. 1 cup of the honey. 1 cup of the oil. 1 cup of the honey. 1 cup of the oil. 1 cup of the honey. 1 cup of the oil. 1 cup of the honey. 1 cup of the oil. 1 cup of the honey. 1 cup of the oil. 1 cup of the honey. 1 cup of the oil. 1 cup of the honey. 1 cup of the oil. 1 cup of the honey. 1 cup of the oil. 3/4 cup of the cocoa powder, and I'm putting it into, oh, I guess you can't see it, I'm pouring it into nothing. I have a little stand mixer. I don't actually need the stand mixer for this one. If you are only putting it into a bowl, that's totally fine. The reason I do the stand mixer is because sometimes I do larger quantities. My daughter, who's 8, has started using this particular recipe to, she makes them and puts them in little bags to sell at the market, and they're a really big hit. So we've started, making kind of larger quantities. So this time we're only making 1 cup of each. I'm pouring in our warmed coconut oil, and that kind of helps the cocoa powder stay down from flying. So I always like to put in the powder first, not last, because then when you turn on the mixer, it does it like all over everywhere. Another little advantage of using the oil first before the honey is that there's a very nice gentle coating of warmth in here, which is going to make it easier for the honey to come out, because it is everybody's favorite job to help me afterwards when there's cleanup, things to lick out. But it's nicer if you actually get what you want into the recipe instead of into the mouths of your 5 hanger-ons. So we have all that is coming out now. You guys can see what a nice little setup that made. I'm going to go ahead and let that start mixing for just a second. Michael, if you're on, you'll need to mute yourself. Okay, so you guys will notice that I'm using just like the normal one, not for whipping. So just a spoon would also be fine. I'm making it extra difficult because I'm just making it do this here because I want to be able to show you guys what the consistency should look like. Okay, so here's what the consistency should look like. So it's very, very kind of, watery, and you will see a couple little chunks of the honey, but there are no more, chunks of the powder at all. And okay, so the next step is that we are going to have several different kinds of the chocolate. So one that we're going to make today is cardamom. It seems to be like a lot of people's favorites. A lot of people like cardamom. It's kind of not one of your normal ones, but it is very tasty. I don't know what it is exactly about cardamom that's so yummy, but it combines with the honey and the chocolate, kind of stuff real well. And when we're making these two, I'm going to talk you guys through a couple of the ones that are super popular for making chocolates. So one is cardamom, peppermint, wild orange, cinnamon, and the last one that I would totally recommend that I feel like has been super, super successful is rose. And a lot of people are hesitant to make floral ones because I think we've all probably had lavender chocolate gone bad. Ooh, man, like sometimes it is so overpowering. Like you have to watch out with that one. Lavender chocolate sounds like it's a good idea sometimes, but you can go overboard with it, and it can be like a little bit off-putting. Rose does not tend to have quite so much that quality, and cardamom also. So let me give you some advice. I always keep some of my essential oils next to my refrigerator. I have some in the bedroom on my side of the bed. I have some on my husband's side of the bed that he uses all the time. I have some in the bathroom. My kids have some in their bathroom. I have some in the kitchen for when I'm diffusing, and I have some in my office for when I need to concentrate and get in the zone. These are the ones that rest next to the refrigerator. We like grapefruit, lemon, lime, tangerine, spearmint, cinnamon, and peppermint are all things that we will sometimes put in our water. And the reason we can put these in the water, most of you may already know about doTERRA and that they have a much different sourcing quality compared to what you can get, at Whole Foods or online, even with companies that say they're 100% pure, natural. So the thing you need to know for sure is, does your container say, oops, can we read it? Focus here. Come on, little focuser. How do I make it focus? Okay, well, it says for internal use, dilute one drop in 4 fluid ounces of liquid, and it puts on there that is CPTG, certified pure therapeutic grade. So when you're using an essential oil as a flavoring and you want the health benefit from it as well, you have to pay the price for purity. You can't just go with the stuff that smells good. So don't try this at home with flavoring chocolates unless you have some really high quality stuff, okay? Make sure it says on the thing that it should have the supplement facts, that should have gone through all the testing to make sure that it is set for internal use. So I have the cardamom, and I'll tell you that typically if you're going with the wild orange or the cardamom or the rose, now this particular rose is in a diluted fractionated coconut oil, and it comes from doTERRA this way. It makes it so much more affordable. I'm so glad that they actually put it this way. But if you're, these three I would consider like lighter flavors. And so you're gonna need just a few drops more of them in your containers of chocolate compared to when you're using something like peppermint or cinnamon, or like I said, lavender, if you go with something like that. People I know have made the On Guard chocolates and have been really big fans of them. If you like cinnamon and clove and wild orange, On Guard is another really great blend that doTERRA puts out that is fantastic for that. I tend to feel like it's so much a burst of flavor. I prefer just cinnamon or just the wild orange. I like to have it a little bit more pure and clean because something about how, a 3-ingredient chocolate, you don't want a super complicated flavor because you want all of the wonderfulness to come out. So the cardamom that we're gonna do here for a bowl that has this much in it, so I just divided my, my 1 cup portion into 2 parts. So I'm gonna do 4 drops in this particular one, and then we do have to we need to do a real good job with the stirring. You can just watch to make sure that the little drops that you saw land on the top are getting fully incorporated. Okay, while I'm stirring this, I would like to tell you guys about why we're making our own chocolates. And most of you guys probably already know that there's a ton of junk out there that is really, really poor quality. The majority of it includes corn syrup. I don't know if any of you have ever had any food allergies, or even if you're trying to do something that's gluten-free, you'll find a lot of chocolates that are not, in that category. I have several people in my family who need to not only be gluten-free but also corn-free, and so the corn syrup or cornstarch or modified food starch or dextrose or maltodextrin can really get annoying. And so it's wonderful to be able to know what is in your treat. And so I feel like it's really important, not only because I want to know the ingredients, if there's going to be any kind of reaction, which, by the way, if you ever have some sort of thing like that, get with me, because I have, like a couple of years history of being able to kind of like help people recover from some of those kinds of reactions. And my son especially deals with that. And so both things to help our digestion kind of recover a little bit with some of those sensitivities, but also, like in the moment when the rash is crazy flared up, or the diarrhea is really running or whatever, and you need to know something to do, I can help. So please keep that in the back of your mind. Okay, the next thing that we're on to is I'm going to tell you to go ahead and buy one of these. They are fairly cheap. I just got mine off of Amazon. It's called a funnel pourer, I think. Funnel pourer, trigger funnel pourer. Okay, I don't really know what they're called anymore, but they're kind of cool because you can, you can remove the whole thing, but the idea is that when the stuff is in here, you pull up to make the stuff come out, and then you push it down with your thumb so that it can stop pouring. The half-pint mason jar works perfectly to get it set there so that when you're pouring stuff in, you won't have any drippage if it's lined up well. And if you're following the 1 cup, 1 cup, 1 cup recipe, then if you're, depending on how much you're making, this is about half of that batch. So you can see it's going in there pretty nice. I'm also going to let you know, I have many, many times done just like a flat sheet of chocolate. And that would be something like, get like a wax paper in a 13 by 9, glass pan or whatever. Because the basic idea is you mix the 3 ingredients, you put it into the molds, or if you want to lay it flat, and then you put it in the freezer. So you want it something that's like easily transportable. So since we're doing, I have silicone molds. I have like heart-shaped ones that are really cute. I'll let you guys know too, do be careful about getting ice cube molds. Sometimes the ice cube molds will work okay, but the silicone ones that say that they're specifically for chocolate are always better. One thing is when you're trying to pop them out, there's a lot of squishage, and so if you're having only the ice cube mold, this one's a middle line one. I have some that are so firm you have to like, really try to get it. So don't do the ice cube molds for the candies. They just not quite as convenient. You'll end up feeling frustrated and you won't do it again. When you get the silicone molds, you can use these for ice cubes, which are great. But you can also just so much easier, pop them out and they fall out so well. So I feel like it's an easy fix for that. And I'm also going to tell you, on Amazon, you can get 4 of the star-shaped molds for under $10 if you're buying in the near future. So go ahead and jump on and find a couple of those good deals. I do find these are the kind of things that you'll pull out them again and again. I do anyway, but that's because we have some sensitivities in our home and things like that. Health becomes very important when, like whether you're using herbs or whether you're just improving your nutrition, or just delving into essential oils and how they can assist and support with any of those issues. You end up having to make a little bit of an extra time investment. So an extra under $10 for a couple of these things is great. Okay, so we have our chocolate in this, and I'm highly recommending, take just a minute, because I've made this mistake before, put your molds onto a tray or something that you want to put into the freezer, because they're silicone and they're floppy. And so after you pour the warm liquid in there, they're gonna get really hard to move. Ask me how I know. Right, and for demo purposes, I'll go ahead and hold these up here too. We are doing the whole trigger thing up and down. Okay, that one's the overfill because I'm not doing it right. All right, let's try this one. Up, up, and down. Oh, you guys, I can smell the cardamom. It smells so good. They're gonna be so yummy. Okay, so as I'm filling these, I feel like I should have like a full lesson here and be able to have like an interactive kind of a thing, but I don't know that there's enough of you on this actual webinar live for me to be able to ask questions and give fun treats. But I do want to go through and tell you a couple of the other things that we can do with essential oils when you are getting the quality of the CPTG rating and things like that. You can use them for internal use, which is so amazing. And some things that you guys might want to do with them. Many people know about making marinades because I have one of my things that's full. I'm going to go ahead and pause there for a second and put them in the freezer. I'll be right back. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to. I changed my mind because I forgot that I decided I was going to pull the whole Martha Stewart thing. Yes, that's me. I'm good old Martha. So I already have some prepared for you. So imagine I just put those in there, and miraculously, they all pulled out. And these ones you can tell were some of my daughters. Oh, they must have been orange. Yum. She likes to do circles for the orange, and she does hearts for the cinnamon or the cardamom, and the stars are perky peppermint, and she makes squares for the plain. So I'm going to show you how easy it is to just plop one out on something. I don't really have something to pop these out on. Should have got another bowl or whatever. Okay, so but look, you just push it through, and then you have this amazing little cutie chocolate, which I kind of want to put in my mouth right now since I already got my hands on it. But I'm going to refrain because then I won't be able to talk very well. You know how that goes. Okay, so you've seen the full thing. I'll run through the whole recipe there at the end one more time. Oh, about 20 minutes in the freezer is typically what I tell people to do. And I'll also tell you too, you can get these cutesy little cups to make them a little bit easier, you know, for transport and, you know, handing out to people. I would say, like, they're basically, I mean, they're called, you know, candy cups, but you can just use cupcake holders if that's what you have on hand. And I guess you don't even really need them. You can just pile them into, you know, a baggie or a glass container or something like that. Do know that because they're only the three ingredients, they don't have any of the stabilizers, the soy lecithin, which a lot of people who are allergic to soy are really glad about that. But they melt quickly. So it's fine, not room temperature for a while, but after a little bit, you're gonna wanna get them back into the freezer. And so keeping that in mind, you might want to either store them in the fridge or freezer, or have them, you know, in the little cups that if you're handing them to somebody and they're going to hold them for any length of time before they devour them, they're going to want to have something separating it from their hands so they don't get marks on them. Okay, so 3 more quick things before I jump off is, and if you guys have questions, do put them in the chat for me. I will try to check that before I jump off. The 3 things I want to go over are, number 1, you can go to the doTERRA website. You don't even have to have an account with doTERRA. And they're awesome about just putting out information about the high quality oils and how to use them. So if you go to doTERRA's website and look at the advocates page, you don't even have to sign in or anything like that. Under advocates, resources, they have a section called ebooks. And I'm pretty sure you're going to go crazy for this book. Like, it's really, really awesome. So you, when you download it to your computer, it tells you it's 16 pages. And when you go to print it, it's going to do front and back. So it only uses 8 pages, but you have like so many cool things that are in there for you. Starts off about why cook with essential oils, the fact that they're safe and natural ingredients, that we actually do get internal benefits from them, especially when we're using them and in a cool sense as opposed to baking with them. There is benefit still to baking, like peppermint brownies, things like that, that are going into to the oven. It's fine. They'll come up with a great flavor, and yes, they're still safe, all that kind of good stuff. But when we're looking at things that are going to promote healthy digestion or cleanse the body, or support, say, immune system the way cinnamon does, or things like that, or other kinds of benefits like that, just helping liver function and things, you're going to want to not expose it to heat. Heat and light are the only 2 things that start to degrade essential oils. So also, it's nice to have the whole convenient thing. Now, for chocolate, we wouldn't necessarily, in most cases, we wouldn't add like fresh herbs. Like, I can't see you guys like chopping up peppermint to put inside the chocolate. But for example, if you're wanting to use like a rosemary or an oregano or something like that for one of the soups or sauces or something like that you're making, it's nice to be able to have something that will give that amazing pop of flavor, even if you happen to have killed your rosemary plant or have forgotten to pick some up, or don't happen to have basil in the house or whatever. Nice to be able to have that kind of convenience where you're getting like a much more potent and powerful thing. To give you a little bit of an awareness, 1 drop of peppermint essential oil from doTERRA specifically. I can't promise about the other companies. I don't really know that much about those anymore. And but 1 drop of peppermint essential oil is equivalent to 28 cups of peppermint tea. So when you're looking at sliding things in and out, most often, if you're expiration dates, things like that, you're going to want to trade out completely, or you can use the other, but just realize that combining some fresh basil with some basil essential oil, for example, or one of my favorites when I'm doing like a salsa, and I love fresh cilantro, but you can still put cilantro essential oil in there as well. So most essential oils are generally regarded as safe. There's a very few that are not. In the book, it lists them. How convenient is that? They also have, now that's the GRAS, the generally regarded as safe. That's if you're only looking to ingest it in small amounts. And most of us have already had that happen in our daily life, spearmint gum, things like that. But if those ones are not things that add any kind of benefit to us, so when it's a really high quality, well tested essential oil, even better to consume. They go through a whole bunch of stuff about safety and measurements. They have like the whole toothpick method to, like, if you're doing something with oregano, put just a toothpick full, so to speak, instead of a full drop to start with. Also, I would say too, so they also make a list of things that are the hot oils. That is cassia, cinnamon, clove, cumin, thyme, oregano. I add peppermint to that mix because I really think it's, just a little goes a long way. Let me also quick jump in here. I also want to show you, this is how I most often get like oregano essential oil into my cooking. This is extra virgin olive oil. It's 4-ounce bottle, and then I add 8 drops of oregano essential oil. Then when I'm making something that I, whether it's a marinade or a rice dish, that goes good in there too, or a soup or like marinara sauce or salsa or hummus or something like that, then a dropper full of the mixture is plenty to give me a really nice flavor without overpowering. That's the big deal. I'll also tell you, I have my Italian balsamic vinaigrette. This has, balsamic vinegar, oil, and then I add, I'm pretty sure it's basil, rosemary, oregano. I think I put bergamot in there because it's Italian seasoning, and the bergamot from doTERRA is sourced from a beautiful compact sourcing store. You guys should look it up. But bergamot is sourced from Italy also, so I had to put that in there. Bergamot is also what makes the what they call that? Oh, it's that kind of tea, Earl Grey tea because of bergamot. So if you're wanting to make your own Earl Grey tea, add in a drop of bergamot in the bottom of your cup before you start adding just a regular black tea. Makes it Earl Grey, and it's amazing. Recommend it with honey. It's so great. Okay, so as you're when you download this book and you're flipping through some of those kinds of things, they tell you about a couple different, what kinds of spices or florals or herbs or mints that you can add into it, and they give some very specific, ideas about what to do for beverages and then marinades, baked goods, frostings on the baked goods, and those are great. And they have some like really great recipes. Some of these are a little bit more gourmet than what I would typically do. Like like you have to divide the eggs and things like that. It's more than what I as a mama of five typically do. But they are some really good recipes there. So I highly recommend most of those. And the garlic herb rub is one that we have tried quite a few times. And then we're always playing around with different, bottles full of these kinds of things. Okay. So download your ebook is one big deal. And if you have an interest in finding out how to use the essential oils in ways that are not necessarily related to cooking, but are related to health and wellness and addressing 80% of your health issues. The Modern Essentials book is a great resource. I mention it because so many people are not necessarily looking for fun, chocolate how-to kind of stuff. We want to know how to get healthy, how to stop relying on doctors and copays and things like that to help us. So the beginning of this book has a lot of great science in it, including reflexology. The next section has, I turn right to it. So it has cardamom, you guys can see here. So what kind of things are cardamom good for? Mostly coughs, digestive support, headaches, inflammation, muscle aches, nausea, and respiratory ailments. They have a whole bunch of other things listed here about urinary complaints and neutralizing the lingering odor of garlic. Who knew about that one, right? Also bronchitis, specifically loss of appetite. So really, it's a lot of stuff here. So they also mention other additional research. Those are scientific tests that have been done about cardamom. And that particular one is impact on the lungs. They have a different one about inflammation and something about ulcers and something about being antibacterial. So the book, you can look up the specific essential oil. Oops, someone's getting noisy. And they also have a section on, remember I mentioned at the beginning, On Guard. This is a blend that is able to be, whoops, someone's got to mute themselves. I'm not sure what all the noise is about. Anyway, so On Guard, it lists a couple of things there. The oils that are in there and why they're there and what kinds of things would help. So if you're going to be putting them into chocolate, what kinds of, coughs, colds, just a whole list of things what that be good for. But also I love to be able to turn it to the section that's all about, it's called my usage guide, and be able to have, sorry, oh, noise. Oh, okay. So say for example, you're needing something to help with metabolism, and you want to know what kind of things are good for that. So this will tell you clove, balanced, steady, and oregano, which I actually don't really know about that either myself. So, or is it? Yeah. Anyway, if you would like a free wellness consult, I would be happy to help you with that. And you can connect with me by email. It's enamoredwithnature@gmail.com. That's ENAMORED, enamored. It's the English, the American spelling, not the British spelling. enamoredwithnature@gmail.com. I also, most of you who are watching this are probably already on the Facebook group called Enamored with Nature Oil Education. And so that's where we oil up and win. And so that's another fun way to connect with me. Or you can private message me. And I would like to see what there is we can do to help you if you're having some issues. Also, you can reach out if you would like a copy of the Cooking Essentials handy dandy page that I have made up, in addition to your, just from the Tara's website. That one's a super easy one. Okay, so those are the things I wanted to cover other than the chocolates. I'm going to go over the recipe in brief, and then I'll check to see if there are any items in the chat. Looks like there, well, either that or I don't. Probably there are no items in the chat. Okay, oh, now I'm back and I'm shaking. So 3 ingredients: cocoa powder, coconut oil, honey. Warmed coconut oil is on top of cocoa powder. Honey is on top of that. Get them all mixed up so there's no lumps. Decide how many different bowls or different flavors you're going to be working with. In general, if you're going with a lighter kind of flavor, such as wild orange, rose, or cardamom, you're going to go with something like a 3 to 4 drops for a half cup portion. So I divided mine into 2. That's why I'm saying a half cup portion. So 3 to 4 drops for a half cup portion. If you're going to be doing something that's a little stronger, like a peppermint or a cinnamon, you're going to reduce it down to like 2 to 3 drops per half cup portion. Remember, you can just multiply that out if you're, quantifying it bigger or smaller, because it's all equal. So, so go with that, and then when it's incorporated and has the essential oil mixed in, you're just gonna use your little handy dandy pour, or you can, if you're going ghetto, don't make it too complicated. Just pour it into a cup. You do want to have something that's a little bit narrower than a bowl or than the mixing bowl, just because you'll find that it starts to pour over such a large portion. So you want something with a smaller orifice. So even if you use a cup, just like a mason jar or something like this one, that you have to refill several times, you'll have more success if you're trying to use a mold. Otherwise, just use it in the 13 by 9, is that what they call it? Just like baking dish with a wax paper sheet in there, and put it into the freezer for about 20 minutes. Then you'll be, popping them out. Or, obviously if it's with a pan, you'll just, plop it onto the other side, and you can chop to some appropriate sizes. And then you'll want to be able to keep them in the fridge the majority of the time and enjoy. So if you guys need to know more about essential oils, I hope that you'll connect on Facebook, and do feel free to reach out if you have questions and we're not able to jump into. Oh, I did. Somebody actually called me this morning. I don't know if Connie's watching or not. She said that there was an issue with hers when she made it. Her honey and chocolate connected with, or they didn't combine well with the coconut oil. And there is the reason for that is because it got overheated. There's something that I don't know why. It seems like with cocoa powder and honey, they kind of like connect to each other, and they keep away the coconut oil during that time. And it seems like no amount of mixing or working with it or whatever is going to make them go back together. I'm sorry. From that point on, you will have some super honeylicious, sticky, molded stuff. Like you can still put the honey and cocoa powder mixture in there, but there's always going to be more like this one, for example, did have, you can see it has a little bit of the white stuff on it. Normally, if it's the perfect heat, it won't get the little tiny itty bitty separation here, because this is like coconut oil that's kind of resting on top of the regular chocolate. And but that's only a little bit of separation, and that's because usually when my daughter is helping, being 8 years old, she takes a little bit longer to do some things than others, and she wants to do it all by herself. And so I will take one of the bowls and I'll kind of put it into a warm toaster oven or something like that. And but then she'll turn it on to like a higher heat than it should be or whatever, and that causes it to, I don't know what exactly it's doing, but something that's not quite right. And so if that happens to you, I would recommend um, salvaging the coconut oil for your next batch, because it does taste really good and it's all black and chocolate looking, but it's not going to be good chocolate. And you can try to use your honey and cocoa powder. You can try to make some little chocolates out of them, but just know they're going to be so different than what they should be. But try again with the coconut oil. You'll be able to combine it if you have the right temperatures after that. What else was any questions I had? I'd say we already talked about lavender. Okay, well, if you have other questions, do reach out and let me know in the Facebook group, and I'll be happy to answer them there. All right, y'all have a good day. Remember to oil up and win. Bye.